We're standing right outside the People's United Center, or what was formerly known as the People's United Center, as the letters on the marquee have come down.
Welcome to M&T Bank Arena. It was recently purchased in early 2022 from People's United Bank, and also the Quinnipiac Athletics changed its name from People's United Center to M&T Bank Arena.
Also on Sports Paws tonight, women's soccer highlights versus Fordham,
And also men's soccer highlights versus CCSU.
Sports Paws starts
Right now. Welcome to Studio 125. I'm Nick Antoniadis.
And I'm Ben Jurgen. Welcome to Sports Paws on Q30 TV. We have a lot in store for you tonight. Ready to get started, Nick?
Absolutely. I'm excited to get underway tonight, so let's kick it off with some women's soccer. On Wednesday, Quinnipiac welcomed Fordham to Hamden. There is so much going on, so we're going to just jump right into the first half, where we see the Bobcats try to score their first goal of the game. We see Courtney Chokol pass to Rebecca Cook with an attempt to score, but is ultimately blocked by Fordham goalie Serena Mensah. Up next, we see a series of passes as the Bobcats set up number 10, Rebecca Cook, to score to give the Bobcats their first goal of the game. Now on to the second half. In the second half, we see the Fordham Rams get on the board with a late goal from Natalie Veldy, assisted by Caitlin Kennedy to tie the game. As we see right there, not long after the goal, the Bobcats scored again with a rebound from Rebecca Cook with the header to lead the game 2-1. Well, the Bobcats were not done yet. Before the end of the game, in the last few minutes, Madison Alves scores to give the Bobcats the 3-1 lead, and that will be the icing of the cake as the Bobcats win this game by a score of 3-1. The Bobcats look to keep the hot streak going as they went up against Rhode Island on Sunday. This game would end up in a tie between the two teams, each scoring 2 apiece. Paige LaBerge and Rebecca Cook each scored 2 goals this game for Quinnipiac, but Rhode Island came back in the second half, scoring 2 goals themselves. The 2 goals were scored by Francesca Heighton and Brooke Cavino. Rebecca Cook has been on a tear recently, and she just won another MAC Weekly Award. Cook has been named Offensive Player of the Week, as she is off to an incredible start for the Bobcats. Already 8 goals in the season with 17 points, including back-to-back games with multiple goals. She hopes to keep this hot streak up as Quinnipiac starts MAC play. Now that the non-conference play is starting to come to a close, the Bobcats will start up their MAC play this Friday against Niagara at home. Let's take a quick look at the standings right now. As it shows right now, Iona has the best record with 5-1-2 record. Behind them, Quinnipiac with 4-1-1 record, and behind Quinnipiac is Fairfield with a 5-2 record. Quinnipiac is hoping to get back to the MAC championship, just like when they fell by Monmouth by a score of 4-0. We are joined by Q30 President Ben Kane to discuss the women's soccer team. Ben, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. Coming into the season, it was always going to be very difficult for Dave Clark to replace one of the best players on the MAC last season, Selena Salas. But with the distribution of Sofia Lospinoso improving every single game and the team really becoming more fluent within those passes, it's been so easy for players like Rebecca Cook and Courtney Chokol to score some great goals. And I'm going to break down one of these goals from Rebecca Cook against Fordham right now.
Spanish supergiants Barcelona welcomed in the Fordham Rams. The Quinnipiac Bobcats welcomed in the Fordham Rams for some midweek soccer action. A fantastic game saw the Bobcats pick up their 3rd home win of the season and saw 2 Rebecca Cook goals, as well as Madison Alves scoring her first collegiate goal. Some great play all around, so let's take a look at that first goal from Rebecca Cook.
Sees Vandervliet, Alexis slipped through Cook, 1-2, Vandervliet to Gagno, on her left foot, to Cook! Excellent team goal there from Rebecca Cook, her 6th goal of the season.
What a goal that was from Rebecca Cook. Some nice tiki-taka football. And when you think of tiki-taka, you're thinking of the 2010 Barcelona team under Pep Guardiola with the iconic midfield of Xavi, Busquets, and Iniesta. This is something that Rebecca Cook also noticed. We got her social media right here. She said they're looking like Barcelona out there, and I completely agree. And it made Dave Clark very happy on the sidelines watching that goal play out.
Do a lot of work in that area and playing to feet. Our frustration is we play too much where we're trying to play into that 6 or 10 yards behind rather than diagonal. But when we're in around the area, all that keep away, that type of like rondo that you do, quick interchange of passing. And I think that goal, I celebrated that goal.
All right, we've heard the call of the goal. We've heard Dave Clark's reaction. We've even seen Rebecca Cook's reaction on social media. But let's take a closer look at this goal. As you can see, Olivia Scott with the ball running into the midfield. Rebecca Cook picks it up. We're going to stop here really fast. Something that Dave Clark talked about in post-game was Rebecca Cook's positioning. When she has her back to the goal, he thinks that her stronger position is actually when she's driving at players, getting in behind, because right now you see her having to facilitate more. And with the speed and versatility of Rebecca Cook, you always want her running in at that goal. However, the play is going to continue here, and she's going to pass it to Vandervlet, and then look at her float. She takes a lot of initiative to drive into this space, dragging all of these defenders over, and now she's going to float here. The defenders from Fordham don't know what to do, so they track towards the ball, leaving Cook wide open at this back post, and it's Cook's 6th goal of the season. And that's your breakdown of Rebecca Cook's 6th goal of the season, her first goal against Fordham as the Bobcats won 3-1.
Great analysis, Ben. But besides the goal, what are some other takeaways do you have from the game at large?
I think one of the things we talk a lot about this team with is offense, but I want to talk about a player in that video especially that really kickstarted that whole play, and that's Olivia Scott. Olivia Scott's been playing more of the 6th role, the CDM role this season for Dave Clark's side, and her link-up play with her, Lauren Triglione, and Emily D'Annunzio has worked out so well for his squad. The 3 rotating with 2 of them playing center back, 1 of them playing center mid, allows for 1 player to go up. And we're seeing the likes of Kayla Mangachos and Madison Mandler get a lot higher up the field. And all of that defense is creating a lot of offense for this squad, allowing the likes of Paige LeBurge, Rebecca Cook, Courtney Chokel to really get involved in the attack. And it's freeing up those pockets on the wings for them to slip in, slip behind, and score some goals. So it's been a great season all year round for the Bobcats. It looks like it's going to keep continuing as they head into MAC play.
The Quinnipiac men's soccer team shipped up to Boston to take on Northeastern. Let's see the result. The Bobcats drew against the Huskies 2-2, and as you're seeing right now, David Bercedo tallied another goal on the year. Also, Jason Budai scored his 2nd of the year. But in this game, the Huskies responded with 2 of their own. Quinnipiac outshot Northeastern, as you'll see on the full screen here, 7-6, and went to 2-1-1 on the year. Though conference play hasn't begun, their overall record still that. Now, the Bobcats return home to Hamden to face the Central Connecticut Blue Devils on Saturday. How did they do? Let's find out right now. The Quinnipiac men's soccer team was back in action on a scorching hot Saturday afternoon, believe me. The Bobcats were sporting the rare dark blue jerseys at home, not great for the Heat, as they took on their in-state rival, Central Connecticut. Let's jump right into it. Bobcats on the attack, trying to get on the board early as captain David Bercedo finds himself with a golden opportunity in front of the net, but he gets denied by Central Connecticut goaltender Daniel Wilmore. On the attack, Jason Budai finds Tomas Vicula in the box. Vicula skitters the ball right past Wilmore for the Quinnipiac 1-0 lead in the 27th minute. Vicula collapses to the ground but hugs his teammates after as the Bobcats jump out to the early lead. Central Connecticut wasn't about to lay down and give up, as Joey Tata right here just lofted a shot right over Carl Netzel in the 41st minute to even the game at 1-1 going into halftime. We're going to jump right into the second half here, and Quinnipiac on the attack. This time midfielder Alex Holly found Eric Langwagen on the far right wing. Langwagen passes the ball to the center of the box. He finds Holly. Holly buries it in the bottom right corner, and Holly assists on his own goal and gives Quinnipiac a 1-goal advantage. Central Connecticut on the free kick, but Carl Netzel had different plans as he punches the ball away from the net out of harm's way, and Quinnipiac is able to hold on to stay unbeaten in their last 4 games with a final of 2-1. After this week's games, let's find out where the men's soccer team sits compared to the other MAC squads. Up top is the reigning MAC champions, the Marist Red Foxes, and the Bobcats 1-2, with Marist not having drawn a game yet. Siena and Fairfield come in at 3-4, and newly added Mount St. Mary's is 5th at 3-2, along with 4th-ranked Fairfield. while Canisius sits at 6th. At the bottom, the 7 and 8 seeds is Manhattan and St. Peter's, who both are looking to improve once conference play rolls around. Coming up after the break, field hockey recently played twice. How did they fare?
Plus, volleyball traveled to Kentucky to compete in the Comfort Invitational. We'll see how they did after the break.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things.
Come on, Jules, spotting on this last one. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to Sports Paws. Thanks for sticking with us. Now, let's get right back into the action. Let's move on and talk about the Quinnipiac field hockey team as they went off against Lafayette last Friday night. The Bobcats would end up winning this game by a score of 1-0. First-year goaltender Christina Torres would end up having 6 saves and getting her second straight shutout of her rookie season. Ava Veldhorst would end up having the only goal of this game, making it her second goal this season, giving the Bobcats their third win of the season. Still on the field hockey conversation, let's see what the team did last Sunday against LIU. The Bobcats will look to extend their win streak to 4 against Long Island University. This team has not done so since 2013. Let's get into the first quarter. First-year goaltender Christina Torres dives for the ball, but senior forward Kayla Olton makes her miss. Amanda Finero deflects it right into Long Island forward Jules Cutsmith for the first goal of the game. Now to the second quarter. Olton passes it to graduate student forward Malin Leotard. Then Leotard gives it back to Olton. Then Olton passes it one more time to Leotard. She scores to extend the lead to 2 at the second half. Now we're going to go straight into the fourth quarter. QU's Amelia Mazzarelli passes it to senior forward Stella Titmeyer. Titmeyer gets the ball at the midfield and sprints all the way down, avoiding defenders. She shoots from the right side, and she scores to cut the deficit to 1. Less than a minute later, sophomore forward Lucia Pompeo goes by the defender and scores to tie the game at 2. All of a sudden, Quinnipiac's back at this game. 1 minute later, Long Island forces a penalty corner. Senior forward Felicia King gives it to Olton, and Olton gives it right back to King to take the lead. The Bobcats would end up losing this game by a score of 3-2, snapping their 3-game winning streak. After the Bobcats fell to LIU on Sunday, they plan on taking those lessons they learned into the Big East play. Q30 field hockey beat reporter Clever Streich has more.
Quinnipiac has played in the Big East Conference for field hockey since 2016, but they've never had a start quite like this. The Bobcats coming off of a 3-game road trip, all 3 victories, before coming to a pivotal non-conference home game against LIU, where they fall 3-2 before starting Big East play. Coming so close, yet so far to the best start in program history.
You want to be able to come back from losing. In field hockey and soccer, I would say similarly, very difficult to do that when you're down a couple goals. So that showed me that we are a very talented team. We didn't adjust enough to our hockey IQ to play the LIU style of play. Their style is so different, and it's something we learned. I mean, we're going to have to learn moving forward.
Another sore point for the Bobcats were their penalty corner attempts. Quinnipiac had 8 in the game, but were not able to convert on any chances.
Penalty corners won us some big games this last week against Maine, Lafayette, and Dartmouth. We put 4 penalty corners in, and we talked. You need to put 2 in to be able to be in a game, and obviously that didn't happen today. We had to score open field goals. So I'm loving that there's some open field goals going on, and we've had a mix, but obviously that was the number one thing we're looking at, and our DPC unit didn't stop their corner at the end.
Despite missing out on becoming the first ever Bobcats team to go 4-1 to start a season, sophomore forward Amelia Massarelli thinks the loss to LIU was a good learning experience before starting conference play.
I feel like all the players has demonstrated our level in the last 3 games. So I feel like this game we couldn't achieve like the level that we have been playing. But still, as Becca said, we learned a lot of things. So I believe in this team.
The Bobcats are certainly a talented team, and their coach Becca Main definitely believes that they are ready for Big East competition. They will take the lessons from this tough NEC opponent loss into Big East play when they play against Temple this Friday. Reporting from the Quinnipiac Field Hockey Stadium, Clever Streich, Q30 Sports.
Thank you, Clever. Now let's take a look at how Quinnipiac sits compared to their Big East opponents. With conference play yet to begin, Quinnipiac sits 5th out of the 8 Big East teams. Up top, Old Dominion and Temple both share a 5-1 overall record, with UConn and Villanova sitting at 3-4. Also sharing a 4-1 record with the Bobcats are at 5th. The Bobcats are at 5th, with Liberty arriving at 6th, also having a 3-2 overall record. To complete the ranking is Georgetown with an even 3-3 record, and Providence in last. Staying with field hockey, first-year goaltender Christina Torres was named the Big East Rookie of the Week. Torres received it after allowing only 1 goal last week against Dartmouth and the former number 22 ranked Maine. She faced 16 total shots and ended the weekend with a .941 save percentage with Torres in net. The Bobcats were able to earn their first win over a ranked opponent since 2016. It was also Quinnipiac's first shutout win against a ranked opponent in program history. This is the first Big East award in her young career.
The Quinnipiac volleyball team started their Comfort Invitational as they went up against Morehead State on Friday. The Bobcats would end up losing this game by a score of 3-0. Morehead State outmatched Quinnipiac by every category. Geneva Giovanni would have 10 kills this game as Morehead State handed Quinnipiac their first loss of the Comfort Invitational. Quinnipiac then went up against North Alabama, hoping to bounce back. North Alabama would end up coming out victorious this game by a score of 3-2. It was a very even match as Alexander Tenen would lead the way by having 16 kills, giving Quinnipiac their second loss in one day.
Volleyball finished their stay at the Comfort Invitational by facing Robert Morris. Let's see if they could avoid dropping their 3rd match in a row. Quinnipiac lost in 4 sets to the Colonial, 3-1, with it losing every game in the tournament. The Bobcats just edged out Robert Morris in total kills, with Alexander Tenen again leading the way with 16. Both teams were even in digs with 60, but Robert Morris dominated in blocks 11-5, with Abby Powers powering the Colonials with 6. Quinnipiac returns to the Northeast, beginning MAC play against Niagara on Saturday. Speaking of the conference, let's take a look at how the rest of the MAC teams stack up before conference play begins. The Bobcats are in 8th place in non-conference standings, only winning 1 of their first 7 games. The top 2 is Iona, who finished 7th last year, and Fairfield, who's normally at the top. Next is Marist, who Quinnipiac upset in the first round of the MAC playoffs last year, and Niagara. Canisius and Ryder are 5th and 6th, and rounding out the bottom is Siena and the aforementioned Quinnipiac Bobcats.
The Quinnipiac rugby team went up against Harvard last Saturday. Quinnipiac would end up falling short by a score of 48-19. Quinnipiac tried to come back late by scoring 12 points from Addison Walker, Hazel Bice, and Abby Terpstra. The Bobcats would hope to get back on track Saturday against Army West Point. We have to step out one final time, but when we return, we have results from women's tennis and golf.
Plus preseason rankings for women's hockey and the schedule reveal for men's and women's basketball. Stick with us on Sports Paws.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing.
After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this.
You will find something.
You will find something new.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here.
Wait.
What? I can't drive. Why? I'm high. Oh.
Thanks for sticking with us here on Sports Paws. It's time to move over to the courts by serving up some women's tennis news. Women's tennis had 3 matches this weekend in the Quinnipiac Hidden Duels tournament. On Saturday, the Bobcats won 3 matches in their season opener against Army. Lesia Trudin and Claire Kolshelski won a singles match each, and Quinnipiac also earned a doubles win on Saturday against Fairfield. The Bobcats won 7 matches total, with Mira Filiberti and Nicole Sovi earning their first career wins finally. And finally on Sunday, the Bobcats won only 1 match against UConn, the host of the tournament, with Claire Kolshelski earning the only Quinnipiac win. The Bobcats will travel up to West Point to compete in the West Point Invite next Saturday. Golf is back in session as they competed in the Yale Invitational this past weekend. Q30 President Ben Kane has more on the team's chemistry to start the season.
With fall sports officially in full swing, one of Quinnipiac's most successful teams began their season this weekend. Playing at Yale, the golf team teed off very close to home as they look to complete another championship season.
It's nice being able to sleep in a little extra, but I mean we've played this course before, so it's good having that familiarity. And it's not in the best conditions, but it's still a pretty challenging course, so it was nice.
Although the Bobcats had to play 54 holes in just 48 hours, being so close to home definitely gave them an advantage heading into the final day of play.
Well, it makes it easier. I mean, even yesterday when we played 36 holes, they got back to the dorm after leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning. They got back at 7:30 last night. That's a long day, but it's better than being on the road and dealing with that. So this is a good tournament for us.
And while the Bobcats may have started their season just a few miles from home, anywhere is really home for this team, both because of the experiences they've made on the golf course playing, as well as the memories they've made as both teammates and friends.
I try to get them to relax and enjoy themselves, and I think they treat each other like sisters, in my opinion, and it's really important that they all work together like that. I think it's a great combination of 5 great golfers.
Combination of girls from across the country, led by Leanne Peralta and Kaylee Sakota, O'Connor's team are very motivated by the two seniors and are always looking up to them.
Now, both her and Kaylee, great captains. They've taken on the role. Everybody looks up to them, and their leadership is great. They do a great job.
Having been members of the program since 2019, both players are super excited to lead the group this season.
I mean, it gets me hyped. We all know what to expect. We're all working hard to play well for each other and the team, so I think we're all super excited to see what we can do.
I think it's definitely a change. Trying to be that role model for the younger players, and just trying to lead by example. Now that I have more eyes on me this year, I gotta perform better, and yeah.
All eyes will be back on the Bobcats as they compete in the Boston College Intercollegiate starting September 26th. From Q30 Sports, I'm Ben Kane.
Just published today, the USCHO released their standings ahead of the women's hockey season. Let's see where the Bobcats are ranked. Quinnipiac is ranked 8th out of the 15 teams in the poll after being eliminated in the quarterfinal round of the NCAA tournament by Ohio State. Speaking of Ohio State, it's ranked 1st with the Minnesota Golden Gophers and Wisconsin rounding out the top 3. Northeastern and Minnesota Duluth rank 4th and 5th in the poll. The first of 7 straight ECAC teams in the poll is Colgate at 6th, and Yale comes in at 7, and rounding up the top 8 is Quinnipiac. Onto the hardwood, the Quinnipiac men's basketball team had their schedule released today as well. The Bobcats opened their season against Rhode Island on November 7th. Their home opener is later that month against Dartmouth, and the highlight of their non-conference slate is at Penn State on December 22nd. They begin MAC play at home against Iona, and next they go up against reigning MAC champions on the Cinderella story of March Madness St. Peter's on Friday, January 13th. The final game of the season is on March 4th against Marist.
The Quinnipiac women's basketball team also announced their schedule for the 2022-2023 season. Let's see what the games are looking forward to. The first game of the season will take place on November 7th at NC State, and their first home game will take place on November 12th against CCSU. Then they follow up by beginning MAC play on December 17th on Iona. The games to look forward to are on December 19th against Manhattan for a MAC tournament rematch, and on February 11th against the defending champions, Fairfield. Now it's time for top 5 plays. Ben, you got odds, I got evens?
Absolutely. Let's do it, Nick. Starting at number 5, we're on the women's soccer pitch, and who else to start with but junior Rebecca Cook, who passes to Emily Vandervliet, would then find Ella Gagno across the middle. Gagno would send the ball right to Cook, who finishes beautifully on the right side of the net, and that would be the Bobcats' opening goal.
Now on to play number 4. Stella Titmeyer breaks away from LIU defenders, and then she cuts back and fires a shot into the low left corner for the net for Quinnipiac's first goal of the game. Taking another look at the setup goal, Amelia Mazzarelli gets the ball to Titmeyer, and she takes care of the rest, running past everyone with ease, and eventually gets the opening to put the shot away. As you can see, there's the goal right there.
Let's go to play number 3 now. We're back on the soccer pitch. First year Madison Alves takes the ball away from Olivia Redden, and she would fake out the defender and put away the goal in the bottom right corner. This would be Alves' first career goal as a Bobcat.
Now on to number 2, more field hockey action as Lucia Pompeo flicks the ball back to herself and finds enough space to get it past goalkeeper Maggie Strikert for the Bobcats' second goal of the contest. Let's look back in slow-mo as Pompeo catches the defender off guard, and she would make her pay the price.
Finally, play number 1 of this weekend. Alex Holly sends the ball down the right wing to Eric Langwagen. He would find Holly across the center, and he would shoot and score in the bottom right corner, giving the Bobcats the deciding goal of the contest. Now that you're updated on everything Quinnipiac sports, let's take a look at the slate of games ahead. Men's soccer is looking to stretch its undefeated streak to 5 games against Sacred Heart on Wednesday. Field hockey will travel to Philadelphia to take on the Temple Owls. Women's soccer will hold its senior day and alumni game on Saturday at noon. Finally, volleyball will hope to get back into the win column on Saturday in Niagara. It will be volleyball's first conference game as well. Well, that's all for us in Studio 125.
Thank you to all the producers and everyone behind the scenes. Be sure to check our content on Twitter at Q30 Sports and visit our website at q30tv.com.
For Nick Antoniadis, I'm Ben Jurgen. Have a pleasant evening.